Welcome to Jeff and Jamie Feed. I'm Jeff Tony Daniel, and I'm here with my wife, Jamie Brown. What are we talking about today?
Today, I'm super pumped because we are going to be talking about the business of building a city.
Ooh.
And, you know, we dive into F&B in so many different angles, but the reason I felt like this was so important to get into is because I think Charlotte is doing things differently.
I love this town, and I totally agree. It is on a great trajectory.
It is, and a lot of it is that it's all very intentional. And I think what we're going to have today is we're going to talk to a dear friend of mine, Laura White from the CRVA. And Laura and I have known each other for a very long time. I used to work out at the Whitewater Center here in Charlotte, which if you haven't been, please go. It is absolutely phenomenal. Whether you're truly into outdoor sports or if you just want to watch other people doing things like going down Class 4 rapids while you listen to music and have a burger, that is also totally acceptable. But it is a great facility out there. And so she and I have known each other since my days there. And she is now heading up the branding, the marketing of this city.
Well, I thought the whole idea of this podcast was so we could hang out with Laura, but I guess there's a little more to it.
There's a little more to it. But I think what's also neat is we've worked with them for so long at the CRVA with our restaurants too. And so I think we'll get to dive into what the city's doing differently and how culinary and food and beverage really play a role in that.
I guess we do have something to do with it. A little bit.
Well, we're trying to feed a lot of people. Awesome.
That is true.
Well, let's bring her on.
Laura White visits Charlotte, CRVA, the Charlotte Regional Visitors Authority. I love that you're here with us today. You're one of my favorite people. We had 20,000 plus people move to Charlotte last year.
I think she knows that.
And wow.
Yes.
I mean, there's a reason for it, though, right?
We are.
You're creating reasons for it.
Well, thanks for that. We try. Yeah. 156 people every day. And we're the 6th fastest growing city in the U.S.
That's crazy. Well, what a lot of you may not realize is that like a city, especially of this size, like you can grow accidentally, organically, that kind of stuff. But here in Charlotte, I feel like you guys are just crushing it. I love this team here at the CRVA, and I'm sorry, I'm not getting paid to say this, but the partnership with them and what you guys are doing is making a huge difference for this city. And maybe you could just explain to everybody what it is that you do and what you see the big role of the CRVA and specifically Visit Charlotte is.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for having me today. You two are some of my favorite people of all time, making Charlotte great. And just a little bit about the CRVA. So think about us with 2 core functions. So we sell and market the city for meetings, conventions, events, and visitation. So that's one half of it. And then we manage city-owned venues. So NASCAR Hall of Fame, Bojangles Coliseum, Evans Auditorium, Convention Center, so on. And so I'm on the selling and marketing of the city side, as well as promoting these venues. So we almost act a little bit on the marketing side like an internal ad agency, if you will.
Yeah. And what I think is so amazing is like the how you're really trying to create a persona for Charlotte. And I think you have is it like 4 or 5 pillars that you build on?
Yes.
And one of those being dining. But what are those pillars that really kind of bring
We don't really care about the other ones, but we'll hear about them.
Yeah. I mean, well, with Charlotte, our story is still very much being written, right? So it's hard for us to sink our teeth into one core area like Nashville and country music or Vegas and nightlife. And so for us, we really think our competitive advantages are around 4 themes, and that's culinary, of course, our favorite today.
The most important.
The favorite today. Yes.
Arts and culture, diversity and inclusion, and outdoor recreation and adventure, which encompasses pro sports as well.
Okay. I love it. And I know, obviously from our perspective, dining is a huge piece for us. But I feel like your focus on it has been tremendous over the past couple years. And I think what's neat about dining is it always, no matter what, has to do with the other ones.
Yes. I mean, culinary is a common through line, right? Whenever you go somewhere, you want to have an excellent meal. You don't want to have a meh meal, right? And so culinary really becomes this anchor in terms of visitation. It's one of our top motivations for people visiting Charlotte. It's the top activity when they get here. And so promoting that is really a core tenet of what we do with our marketing at the CRVA.
Okay. And so how many, like, as far as visitors coming to Charlotte on a regular basis, what does that actually look like?
Yes, good question. So we see 33 million visitors annually. And to put that into context, Charleston sees about 7 million visitors annually. Asheville sees about 14 million visitors annually. So if you put Charleston and Asheville together, they still wouldn't touch our annual
What is
visitation.
it?
And our visitors, though, are a little bit different, right? That
Yes.
we're kind of a crossroads. We have a lot of people kind of stopping on their way to somewhere else. And we have a lot of transplants here. So we have a lot of people visiting family.
Exactly. So when you think of that 33 million, 54% of that, over half, are coming to visit us, people who live here, visiting friends and relatives. And so residents really become a key ingredient in tourism because they have to be the ambassadors who take them to Lilluya Hall or Growler's Poorhouse or all of these other great restaurants in Charlotte.
It's such a interesting point because I really never thought about that in terms of it's the people who are moving here. And honestly, probably a lot of it's the people who are newly moving here who are like, come see my new city. Let me show you the new things that I've found, because they're, a year after graduating, they're so young and fresh faced and adorable, aren't they? We're seeing them moving in all over the place. Gosh, they're young, but they're excited about their new city and the life they've built. And so they're enticing people to come.
Exactly. And that is, when you look at that population growth, that is the key ingredient to our visitation. We have a much higher percentage of visiting friends and relatives than other cities our size. So it becomes this anchor. And then the next level is really 33% of people who are coming for things to do, essentially like a great weekend getaway, that urban, sophisticated, great weekend where you plant your flag in something like maybe a Panthers playoff game, maybe a show at Blumenthal. And then you want to have a well-rounded weekend, right? So you're going to make a couple of amazing dinner reservations. You're going to go to an attraction or two, maybe a brewery. You have that well-rounded city experience. So that's about 33%.
What encompasses a visit? Is it just driving through on 77 or stopping at the airport and getting a connection?
No.
Or what actually is a visit for you guys?
Outside 50 miles or more. And we do look at day trips and overnight trips. But what's really fascinating with our airport is we have the most amazing airport. It is huge for our residents and economic development.
For sure.
But 9 in 10 of our visitors are driving within a 400-mile radius. Also part of that visiting friends and relatives. So 90% are driving, not flying.
I have some friends that when I mentioned that Charlotte was the 7th or 8th busiest airport in the world, they were laughing at me. These guys from New York and Miami, they're like, oh, come on. And then they started looking up. They're like, no way.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's incredible.
It's such a huge, important tool for us in terms of economic development and quality of life. But 80% of the people who are flying into Charlotte Douglas are flying right back out because we're such a hub.
Yes, but so I love that you're distinguishing that. Like there are the people who are, flying through Charlotte and all that, but your visitors that are coming to stay here that you all are tracking as visitors that are enjoying food, drink, hotels, amenities, those are people driving in from here. And so when you guys do marketing, what does that reach look like? Like what kind of a market are you trying to bring in?
Exactly. So we're looking really in that 400-mile drive radius. So that's as far north as DC, as far south as Orlando.
Doesn't quite make it to Cleveland, though.
Nope.
Sorry.
As far west as Nashville.
You should
So-
really get some of those Cleveland people. Then
They're
need somewhere
moving
to go.
here.
I know.
They're
They
not
just
coming to
move here.
visit.
They
They're
don't need
coming to
visit.
stay.
It is true. The upstate New Yorkers and the Ohioans, we still have a soft spot. We're not ignoring them, but as our marketing budgets grow, we'll start to permeate some of those Pennsylvania, Ohio, New York markets and
But
extend the reach.
it's almost like no point right now because so much of your visitors, they're driving anyway. So
Yes.
why go to those cities that are
Yeah.
flying?
And that's
markets?
visiting friends and relatives too.
Yeah.
Everybody knows someone from upstate New York or Cleveland or Columbus. You know, those are hotbeds for VFR is what we call them, visiting friends and relatives.
Are you still using the tagline Charlotte's got a lot? 'Cause I love that one.
Oh,
It's one of my
good
favorite.
question. It is still the website URL and still our social handles, but it is not technically the brand of Charlotte. It is just one of the taglines and brand items in the toolkit, if you will.
Well,
But it has grown in popularity.
One of the things Jamie and I are promoting is that
Oh.
Charlotte is the city of hospitality.
Yes.
Love.
And that was started on our podcast. Just so you
Oh,
know,
geez, here he
on
goes
our
trying to take
first
credit.
podcast. But Charlotte is the city of hospitality. Just get it out there.
All
If
right.
you want to do an ad, you can use it.
But it goes beyond food and drink, which I think our city is really nailing and growing into itself and so many more things to come. But that hospitality piece I think is actually huge because the warmth here, the service here that you get, whether you go to a hotel or go to a coffee shop or
just
even just going in a retail
need to
store.
take a left turn and you're in the wrong lane. People let you in here. We're so nice.
Generally, there's not as much honking of horns as there is in
It's
New
true.
York and Chicago.
Yeah, it's gotten better. I do think you're right, though. I think with the branding of the city, what we like to focus on is this idea of our people are our differentiator. So the welcoming, hospitable, vibrant vibe that you feel in the city is created by people like you guys. And so we lean into that with our marketing.
Yeah. So to give you guys an idea how long we've worked with the CRVA, Jeff and I, we opened up Crepe Cellar, our first restaurant in 2009. And you all were one of the first organizations we joined. And trust me, we did not have the money to join. But
It was a stretch.
My friend at the time was working with the CRVA. And he said, okay, we'll give you a deal. We'll get you in there just because our voice is louder than yours. And so that was back in 2009. And we have worked with them every single year since. And I think one of the big things that we've watched together is watching Charlotte grow and how much it has changed. And what would you say are some of, I don't know when you started working there. Was it
20 years.
20
this
years?
year.
Wow.
Thank you. Because honestly, like you all have made such a huge difference. And I know you're threaded through all 20 years of those in a very powerful way. But what would you say are some of the biggest things that have shifted since you first started working there and where we are now?
Oh, completely. I mean, the growth of the city, right? The trajectory, when you look at certain milestones, even go all the way back to 2010 when you had things like Levine Center for the Arts open, NASCAR Hall of Fame open. We had several new hotels, Queen City Quarter, which used to be the epicenter, opened. So you had a big development boom. And then, a lot of this population growth that followed in subsequent years. But I do think the economic downturn in 2008 hit us a lot harder than
Sure
it
did.
hit other cities our size. So we're still catching up in some ways, especially on hotel rooms. We really, really could benefit from more hotel rooms in Center City. We talk about wanting a Super Bowl as a city. Well, we're not going to do that with the existing amount of hotel rooms that we have in that pipeline. So things like that. And then I think quality of life really brought a lot of the newcomers that planted roots because Charlotte is a city that you can really make your own. You can really find your own way, your own people. It's not as intimidating as a Chicago or a New York.
Right. Oh, I think that is so true. Just development wise, like building stuff feels like it's just easier here than it certainly would be in New York City or any super high
Even with all our growth, it's still relatively easy here. Like people visiting us are always surprised that let's just go run over here or do this or do that, and you can still do it here. It's not.
I think the big difference there are the neighborhoods.
Yes.
Because I think that I think that's one of the most special things about this city too, is that you have your center city, there's the downtown area, and then it's sprinkled around by dozens of adorable little towns. And I always think of Noda as still a sleeping giant a little bit, because very few places in Charlotte have the charm of what Noda has, the independent restaurants and venues that Noda has, between Evening Muse, neighborhood theater, the variety of bars and restaurants here, that it's just a different flavor throughout the whole city, just based on the little neighborhoods.
Completely agree. I feel like the neighborhoods really contribute to so much of our identity factor, because you're right, each neighborhood is a little different, a little unique. And so that's something we're leaning into much more in our marketing as well. We actually just recently did a t-shirt and artwork collaboration with 704 Shop that really highlights 8 neighborhoods. And so we want to get to the next 8 neighborhoods and the next 8 neighborhoods, so we can really canvas Charlotte. But we really
I gotta go
lean
find
into that.
some of those,
Yeah.
because I love the
I
neighborhoods.
might know someone.
Okay, I mean I love the neighborhoods. I love that we get it from a little different perspective too, because we have restaurants in 3 different neighborhoods, and each one has a different feel. Each one has different customers. Each one should probably close at a different time at night. It is wild how different each neighborhood is.
Definitely.
So one of the things I think you guys have been so impactful with was 2025. Let's talk about 2025.
Big year.
Huge year for the CRVA, huge year for culinary and dining in Charlotte. Let's talk about, I can think of 3 things, and I'll start with one so you don't have to mention it, but Fork and Hammer, our programming, you guys were supporters of that. So thank you for that, truly. That has been, if you guys haven't seen it, it is on PBS. You can also see it on PBS Passport, and we've started launching the episodes on YouTube as well on our producer's channel, Susie Films. So you can find that as well. So that's Fork and Hammer.
You can go binge watch the whole season, all 10 episodes. Just
almost.
Check
we
them
have
all
4
out.
or 5 out right now, Jeff. Don't get too hasty.
Well, on PBS Passport, you can.
Oh, that's true. Okay. Yes, you can. So thank you for the support of that. But let's talk about the other 2 as well.
Smaller, but we'll talk about them.
Yeah, let's dive in.
Well, you guys have been instrumental in both of these. So last November, we celebrated being a part of the Michelin Southeastern Guide. So that was a big one.
Huge. But can we go into what your role is in making that happen?
Yeah, they just didn't come here, did they?
There are people intentionally behind this stuff.
There are.
It's you, Laura. Okay, but go ahead.
Well, Michelin is a very unique animal, if you will. And getting them to the Southeast has been a long-term effort, and the state's involvement and Visit NC's involvement deserves so much of the credit here. And then cities like Asheville and Durham, Raleigh, and Charlotte banded together to really kind of help enhance the investment so we could really make sure North Carolina was part of that story. And then Charlotte really became the belle of the ball last year with the first year of the Southeastern Guide.
Why do you say that?
Well, because you guys definitely earned some Michelin recommends, which are fantastic. And
Charlotte
then,
ended up with how many total?
12.
So 12.
And then we had 1 Bib Gourmand with Lang Von.
Love that.
And we had North Carolina's only star with Counter and Sam Hart.
I love that. It's
And don't
incredible.
forget Colleen.
Exactly. Took the words out of my mouth.
There you go.
So there was 1 mixology award for the entire Southeast, and your superstar, Colleen Hughes, received that.
That's right. That's incredible. That's just incredible.
44 million people that encompassed.
Yeah,
It
and
was like-
what an honor to get to go down to Greenville for that event. I mean, we just, and our team, we had a whole bunch of our team go down too. We just felt amazing. We felt like stars going down there. It was just awesome to be a part of the culinary scene on that broader scale, and all of these incredible restaurants throughout the Southeast, and to be a part of that. It's hard to
Really special.
describe those feelings.
That was a pretty cool day.
Yep.
I'm not going to.
So they'll come out again this year. It's several years that
Yes.
they'll be coming around here.
October 21st is the next awards in Nashville.
Okay.
So we'll see how Charlotte does in year 2.
Okay.
We have 3 years guaranteed with Michelin.
Okay. That's pretty incredible.
And it really is, when you look what Michelin does, and you kind of put it into perspective that they're sending people out to all these wonderful restaurants all across the country. They don't let their inspectors live in the city that they're going to inspect. It has to. It is not free what they're doing. They pay for all their meals. They pay for their inspectors to travel, to stay, to do all these things. So it is expensive. It is an endeavor. It is a lot of work. So I can see where they need people to step up and be good partners for them.
Definitely.
I mean, it is
real
so
honor.
it's so highly regarded. I mean, you go overseas, nobody's heard of James Beard's. You know, nobody. They just know Michelin. You know, so if you say anything to that anybody who moves here from Europe or anybody who lives in Europe, and you say something about Michelin, that is just a different level.
Completely.
You know?
We'll be so fortunate to have the Michelin honors that will really carry on for years and years for this city, and wouldn't have been able to make it down to the Southeast without this kind of collaboration among the participating states and cities.
So we're so pumped because we actually had 3 restaurants on the Michelin Guide: Haberdish, Everandelo, and Supperland. So one of the most beautiful things are those pretty red, shiny plaques we get to put outside our doors. We had all of our chefs sign the back of them too. So it's so cute. On the back of those, we have, in permanent marker, people's names there who are part of the team and making that happen, which is so much fun. And we're hopeful Layla Hall gets a look this year.
Yes.
We have no idea.
We weren't open early enough last time, but yeah, let's go.
Exactly.
And I'm fighting. This is Michelin, if you're listening, check out Olivelli Deli for a Bib Gourmand. We're using awesome seasonal ingredients. The pantry we have over there is incredible. We're using the best meats that we can find across the globe. And
they're not cheap sandwiches, but they're good sandwiches.
But they fit the
bread.
the Bib Gourmand category. But homemade bread, Benny seed rolls.
Super
the
good.
team over there is doing a great job. So if a walk-up window with no seats and
good plug, Jeff.
Yes,
Good job.
I will
Let's
plug
go.
the Kappa Kappa Ega.
Yeah,
Very
that's
good.
I love
Yeah,
that.
just,
I love that. So we've talked Fork and Hammer. We've talked Michelin. Number 3, not to be the last here, or least, I should say.
This one was super fun.
It sure was.
The season 23 of Top Chef, which was featured in the Carolinas and filmed in Charlotte predominantly. So this was a big one. It was a big lift. It was about a year and a half of recruitment and really working with partners like you guys to help uncover these themes that ended up making it on the show. And what a proud moment to see you guys on that episode of honoring textile heritage and interesting food dyeing and all kinds of cool stuff.
What a cool day. They roll in with 90 to 100 people and just make it an event, and just wow.
There were hardly any words, were there? The amount of equipment that they brought that was scattered all over the Supperland, patio and outdoors.
Well, our bar, we have our separate space that's a bar at Supperland, and they had their video room in there, and it was screens for 24 feet is the length of our bar, and it was just one screen after another, and just people in there and dials, and it was so cool.
So if you all are wondering how something like that actually happens, that's where the CRVA comes in. That's that intentionality behind the growth of Charlotte. It's getting that culinary messaging out there. Yes, through Fork and Hammer, through Michelin, through Top Chef, and the reach that something like Top Chef has is tremendous.
Completely.
It's all over the world.
140 countries. It was one of the highest premieres this season that they saw. So each episode is roughly 15 million viewers across the world.
Amazing.
So in the US, they saw 4 million viewers for the first couple of episodes. So we're still getting some of those ratings as the season wound down, because a lot of people DVR and watch later.
Yeah.
I know I'm one of them. And it was just such fantastic exposure. We saw over 540 media placements featuring Charlotte and the Top Chef season. That was over 24.5 billion impressions that was created with that earned media alone, not just the Top Chef. So it has this whole Top Chef effect to it, where you're not just hosting the show and having the show come in and take over and feature your city, but it's also creating the value of exposure and, the social media that the judges create is incredible, and their social media following, and then how we can leverage that.
I
to
was
promote
I
the
was at an
city.
event that with Gail the day our show came out.
Was
She
it the
like- chef assembly with,
Yeah.
with
In
Gail,
Philly.
and she's like, "No way." And she shows me her phone with a picture of me and her on it. She goes, "I just posted this, and here you are running into me." So yeah, that was
Really
pretty
cool.
cool. But yeah, because they're posting on the day that our the show
Yeah.
came out and trying to promote those things.
Well, just to have Charlotte on people's radar in that on that level, and I think, seeing that we have intricacies and details that go behind the food and beverage scene here, just like a lot of cities have, but like I think Charlotte not knowing exactly always what our persona, our culture is here. We are very much developing, and as you said earlier, writing our story, and to have that be a part of it, you start to unearth some things, like it's lovely to hear how barbecue works. And I agree with you, the textile mill heritage. And I think Haberdish is a good example of how we've tried to bring that forth in a restaurant concept is, that family style dining, those Southern ingredients, those farm fresh ingredients, sharing around the table. But just kind of uncovering what Charlotte has in the food scene.
So I have to say, last year, there were two really, really special days that could be two of the most special days of my life. And there are two themes that are big on those days. One, you brought, and CRVA brought a lot of those to fruition. And the other theme kind of embedded in both of these days is Emerald. So doing Top Chef,
Right.
we show up, and who is our guest
At the table at Supperland.
judge with us at Supperland, but Emerald. So we got to spend the day hanging out with Emerald, filming Top Chef.
There were
It
other
was
people there.
the
Like it's just
coolest. He's just so special.
cool.
Someone I always looked up to. Someone that kind of taught me how to cook a little bit when I was young, and I just like so incredible, so special. But
Love that.
then a few weeks later, when we go to Michelin, we all got oysters at a little oyster bar before the
That's
Michelin event.
Oh,
And
yeah.
who's sitting right next to us? We walk in, and there's Emerald
Emerald
sitting right
and
next to
his
us.
son,
And
Destiny.
we had just seen him, a few weeks before for the Top Chef filming. And so
That's so
thank you
cool.
for putting that together. And
it
it's
was
just
so
I will
special.
never forget either of those days at all. Just so cool.
We were at the liver mush quickfire challenge that Emerald also judged, and that was definitely a fun one.
How was the liver? Are you a liver mush fan?
My husband,
Who we
loves
love.
it.
We
Oh.
love him.
He is Culinary fan number one, and he loves liver mush. So that was an amazing episode for him.
He seems like the
to
kind of guy
check
that
out.
would like liver
Right?
mush.
He does.
Yeah.
Do you know the event that you hosted the other day at Bloom Studios in honor and celebration of Top Chef? You all had a liver mush dish, and our daughter tried it, and
Oh.
she liked it.
It was really thoughtful. It was liver mush grits. So they were taking the liver mush and mixing it into the grits. And
She was a fan.
it was a really nice touch. And we like to do the whole animal cooking, and also there's lots of really good vitamins and nutrients in liver mush that people forget about.
Yeah, definitely. It's a staple. One of those underused ingredients that, again, was born out of ideation and pitching it to the Top Chef team, and they made it magic.
They sure did. Well, again, all three of those things, the Fork and Hammer, Michelin, and Top Chef, like as gigantic food initiatives that you did last year. Looking forward, what's next? I know obviously some of it continues, right? What's next? What are you most excited about? And how do you decide what to put your efforts, time, energy behind
Oh, well,
to keep growing what you've started?
this has been such a banner year for Culinary. And, we've been at this since I really feel like 2018, really doubling down. And whether it was Charleston Wine and Food or going up to the James Beard House or going to other markets like Greenville, Atlanta, Charleston, and really spreading the gospel of, hey, we've got something special here. And so we want to continue doing that and really double down in meaningful ways. So I think you can look out for more great articles in terms of media relations and what's out there in the Charlotte landscape. We had an amazing feature that you guys are included in Southern Living, calling us the next great food destination in the Southeast.
I sent that to my mom.
You should have.
Yes.
That's a big one.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
So you guys are integral to that. Yeah, I mean, to that story, a catalyst for that story. So I think for us, we really want to make sure that we keep that megaphone up, for Charlotte. And then also look for ways where we can bring the culinary community together in a thought leadership capacity.
As you talk about that a little bit, I do feel like the culinary community here is very tight knit.
Yes,
very
and it's
close.
because of what you guys are doing, and I don't think you may not realize that side benefit. That it's immeasurable. Nobody would ever see it from the outside, but you can feel it.
Yeah, I feel like I can send a text to 7, 8, 9, 10 restaurant owners in town, and they'll be helpful, or we can go hang out.
So amazing.
And a lot of that is you guys.
Well, you guys saw that with your Giving Kitchen fundraiser this year. I mean, the roster is creme de la creme. It's amazing what you guys pull together. And it's just so great hearing that there is such collaboration, camaraderie, and trust that's been built out of this unified effort to lift up Charlotte.
I think that's exactly right. That was literally what I was going to end on, was this you don't understand
I stole it.
I don't think you did. You stole my ending here, but I'm going to stick it. But it's what you can't measure, and it's this camaraderie that we all have in feeling like we're working together to build that bigger story of Charlotte. Because if more people are coming here, the entire restaurant scene lifts. There are more people who want to come here to enjoy the beautiful food and drink, and not just that, but more people as they move. We have larger pools of people to hire, more foodie people who want to be involved and help us, grow each of our independent businesses.
Completely. It is a circle of life that is absolutely necessary for this community. And 1 in 9 jobs is a hospitality job, and fourth largest industry in the city. So we need to continue feeding that, nurturing it, and making it happen.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today. This has been so insightful for us, and I know for a lot of people out there listening too. So thank you for taking the time and sharing the story of the CRVA.
We love having you. Thanks for coming in.
Oh, thanks for having me. You guys are the best.
Well, fantastic having Laura White on here. I really hope that it helps shed light on what that organization does in this city and how it impacts independent restaurants like ours.
It's incredible the assist that it has given us to just really shine.
Yeah, I wouldn't even call it an assist. I'd call it them carrying the baton up and over. It's
like an alley-oop. It's like an alley-oop.
Yeah, it's a heavy lift to get something like Top Chef in here, heavy lift to get Michelin. They're supporting Fork and Hammer, our national programming, what they're doing for this city, across different types of restaurants. It's impacting people and their businesses and the people who work for those businesses on a very tangible level.
And I love it. I wanted to do something, like I love Charlotte, and I wanted to do something. I wanted to go into city planning or something that had an impact on the city. And so it's just really nice to see that they are having a huge impact and like lifting all boats. It's awesome.
For sure. And it's it really comes back to me to that piece of intentionality. Like they know what's working, they know what's bringing people in, and they're hanging their hats on it. They're investing in it. And you're seeing that in the lifts and the number of people that are coming here to live, but also to visit, the number of conventions, the number of events that they've been having at their various venues it's skyrocketing.
Yeah, it's awesome. And what a great town. So let's just keep improving it. And why don't we open up another restaurant?
now that's a heavy lift.
There
Well,
we go.
thank you all for joining us. Please like, comment, subscribe. We'd love to hear from you, and we'll catch you on the next episode of the Jeff and Jamie feed.